Sup dudes, it's Snail. So obviously Fallout London was supposed to release, but unfortunately because Fallout 4 has just received a new update, as a result this means that unfortunately Fallout London has had to be delayed until Fallout 4 script extender can be updated, and consequently as well for Fallout London to be updated with the new script extender. Now if you don't know what Fallout London is, you're either new or you're returning to the game just now. And if either of those are the case, hi, I'm Snail. I make videos about mods in Fallout 4, but to explain Fallout London before we move on, Fallout London was a total conversion mod for Fallout 4. Fallout London begins in the year 2237, which fits between the events of Fallout 1 and 2. That means that it takes place 50 years before Fallout 4. The game was supposed to be massive, about the size of Fallout 4's base map and Far Harbor combined. In fact, there's been a lot of standalone releases that were made on Nexus from the Fallout London team already. Things like the Webley 1913, the Luger pistol, the Royal Guard uniform, and my personal favorite, the Bren gun. It really brings a certain British charm to cleaning up the Commonwealth that I really can't overstate. Aside from the fact that it's a mod project, it would be for all intents and purposes as close as possible to what a brand new Fallout release would feel like. So this mod was a big deal and a lot of people were really looking forward to it. And we are just going to have to wait. But while we wait, I think it's important that we go over some very similar mods. This is a refresher on all of the big total conversion mods we can expect to see for Fallout 4 sometime in the near future. First, to get out of the way some commonalities between all the mods. Number 1, all of these mods will need the Fallout 4 script extender. It's simply not possible to make them without it. Second, all of the mods are going to use the XDI, the Extended Dialogue Interface, and what that is basically it's a mod that does away with the classic 4-option dialogue wheel that Bethesda implemented with Fallout 4. All the mods are doing away with it in favor of a classic Fallout text box. Third, all of the mods do not have a release date. The reason being for almost every single mod is that these are volunteer projects, and it would make for kind of a PR mess if the team suddenly gave a release date and then due to staffing issues were now unable to check out some of their work on YouTube.
This is Dr. Kyler Diggs, patient log number 43. He believes the Chinese will launch a nuclear attack against the United States. So many bombs will fall from the sky that the world as we know it will cease to exist. Perhaps most alarming, he believes this will happen in the next 5 years. I'm putting the patient into solitary indefinitely.
Next on the list to talk about is Fallout Cascadia. Set in the Pacific Wasteland, Fallout Cascadia will feature vast forests, that famous Pacific Northwest rainy weather, and tons of urban decay and ruins to explore. Fallout Cascadia is a full conversion mod, and what that means is once you've installed it and started it, you cannot play Fallout 4 regularly. It completely changes the game for something brand new, as well as a brand new story in a never-before-seen location. I just want to make a brief aside, but Seattle was actually once considered as a location for a Fallout game. It was Fallout Online, and Fallout Online of course never saw the light of day, but the concept art still exists, as does some of the concepts behind the Wasteland. In addition to a full-fledged dialogue system, Fallout Cascadia will also feature skills and traits and durability systems for equipment, making a return for the first time to Fallout 4. So all of you who wish that those systems were somehow implemented in Fallout 4, they are making a return. We'll see 2 new factions, one of those being the Republic of Cascadia, which seeks to pretty much bring back a lot of the old world institutions such as art, culture, economy, and the rule of law. In opposition to them is the Red Leafs, which began as a grassroots reactionary movement to the American annexation of Canada in 2072. They're described as being a turbulent guerrilla force, seeking to implement their revolution against the Republic at any cost, and one returning faction with the New California Republic. Thankfully, the team behind Fallout Cascadia was more than happy to answer my questions. When asked how complete Cascadia is, all in all, there's still a lot of work to be done across the board, but we are moving forward in a steady pace, with each day bringing something new to the game as a whole. When asked what some of the bigger challenges that the Cascadia team has faced, is simply volunteer turnover. I mean, it's an unpaid project, it's a volunteer work, and it's a labor of love for everybody there at the team. And as such, unfortunately, sometimes real-life priorities take over, people have kids, people move on for whatever reason. I went ahead and asked them if they could share any development stories with me, and they told me a story where two of their environmental artists decided to undertake a full remake of all of their forested areas. The forested areas taking up about 60% of the entire map. This also led to them having to delete every single one of their custom trees placed on the map, totaling somewhere in the 400,000. That is a lot of trees. And this ended up with several developers working effectively 24/7 for a full weekend to get as much of the forested areas restored as possible before allowing the rest of the team back into the development workflow. However, the team is adamant that that was worth it, as the result is, quote, utterly incredible and instantly leading to massive sections of the map feeling more complete than ever. When asked what their personal favorite part of the mod has been so far, they said the visual distinction and the world they've managed to establish while still remaining proper Fallout. Lastly, I asked them, has Bethesda or anyone from Bethesda reached out in any form, positive or negatively? To which they answered, we have been in touch with people from Bethesda several times over the past years, and every interaction has been fantastic. From us asking just general questions, running into issues, showing off what we've done, to in-depth technical assistance, they have always been great and so supportive in all that we've done over the years. Thank you again, Fallout Cascadia, for answering my questions. You guys are awesome. I can't wait for your mod, and I know I'm going to play the f*** out of it when it comes out. Next on the list is a little different. It's not a brand new experience, but it might as well be. This is Fallout Vault 13. It's been in production for 3 years, and Fallout Vault 13 seeks to remake and reimagine Fallout 1 in the Fallout 4 engine. Of course, the team at Vault 13 understands the position they're in, and they understand just how important it is that they get things right. And they state very clearly in the FAQ on their Discord that everything is going to be peer-reviewed and thoroughly examined to make sure that it fits not only the flavor, but the feel of Fallout 1 as well. Now, what do I mean by reimagine? Well, it's going to add things like radio stations, expanding on all of the locations, even on the wilds and the deserts. It's going to try and upscale everything for the modern day and what current hardware is capable of. Cut content will be added on a case-by-case basis as per the FAQs. Reimagine also includes some design choices such as no killable kids. According to the FAQ section on the Vault 13 Discord, after extensive internal debate, they have decided not to include killable kids. I'm pretty sure this isn't really a loss for most people, at least it isn't for me. Maybe New Vegas purists will feel a little differently about that, I don't know. But what we can extrapolate from that is that this might not be the only change we'll see. We might see some other changes that the team simply doesn't want to implement in their game. The playable map is going to be massive. I can't overstate that. There's going to be 5 unique playable areas, and the reason why there's going to be 5 of them is so that it can accommodate giant cities and vast expansive desert wastelands to travel through. Now, how those 5 playable areas are going to intersect, I'm not entirely sure, as the Vault 13 staff could not be reached for comment, but nevertheless, I'm imagining there might be like a loading screen in between areas, and that should speak to how massive each area is. Following Vault 13, let's move on to talking about Project Arroyo. Fallout 4 Project Arroyo is going to be a full recreation and reimagining of Fallout 2 in the Fallout 4 engine. Started in 2019, Fallout 4 Project Arroyo is a complete recreation and reimagining of Fallout 2 in the Fallout 4 engine. There are already some showcase videos on their YouTube, and they look amazing. In much the same way that Vault 13 is going to reimagine Fallout 1 for the Fallout 4 engine, Fallout 2 is going to do much the same thing. It will be fully revoiced, soundtracks fully re-recorded or replaced, and the Chosen One will remain unvoiced, so that you can properly imagine what your Chosen One sounds like. Radio stations will be included in the game. There will be a careful selection of songs to go with it as well. And again, because songs and radio weren't included in Fallout 2, it's going to take some peer review and some decision on the developers' parts whether or not certain tracks really fit the flavor of Fallout 2. The team has also pledged to recreate characters as close as possible to their original designs. There are currently also no plans for a settlement system, but yes, there will be a player home, similar to Fallout 4's home plate in Diamond City. Within that player home, you will be able to configure it much like you would in the home plate, but that'll be about the extent of it. You probably couldn't configure, for example, your tribal village at the beginning. So a lot of this is still in the conceptual stage, but the concept is of course extremely attractive, because Fallout 1 and 2 have never seen remasters or re-releases of any sort at all, ever. Now, I was able to get in touch with the project co-lead named Garwart, who is also the translation lead for a very popular Fallout 2 total conversion mod titled Fallout Sonora. That's a game for another video, but in the interview questions, I asked him what one of the biggest challenges with the project has been, and he said time. A non-commercial project cannot take up the time that it needs. One has got to make a living, which is why development can't possibly approach commercial development speeds. Allocating sufficient time to the project is a challenge for every single one of us on the team. When asked what his favorite part of the mod has been, he says the talent in and around the mod. When asked what inspired the mod to begin with, and what was it about Fallout 4's engine that made the prospect so attractive, he says Fallout 2, as underbaked as it was, and it really was always in dire need of a remake. Fallout 4 simply provides the means to do so with its relative flexibility. For all its faults, there's no denying the engine and the modding tools created for it over the years presents a large degree of freedom of creation. When asked if they've had any sort of outreach from Bethesda, either positive or negative, Garwart says, "We're not in any active contact with Bethesda, but there were certain efforts on their part to bridge the gap between them and the larger modding projects, like we've seen with Cascadia and probably a couple of the other ones that I just never got the answer for. Wishing you all the best, Project Arroyo, and I'm really looking forward to playing your mod when it's available." And finally on the list, something that I think most of you would be extremely interested in is Fallout 4 New Vegas. Having been in development for at least 7 years at this point, Fallout 4 New Vegas seeks to completely port New Vegas characters, plot, and all into the Fallout 4 engine. From start to finish, it will be New Vegas. There will be no Fallout 4 aspect of this except for the engine. It aims to be faithful even down to the holstered weapons, just like New Vegas. Skills will also be returning. No idea if Wild Wasteland is returning, but I imagine that it probably is. Also, for those of you curious as to whether or not we'll get access to some of New Vegas's crazier dialogue options, the answer is yes, we will, because the mod is going to be using the extended dialogue interface, just like every other mod on this list, to open up the dialogue options. That means you're going to get back your intimidating presence, you'll get your low intelligence options, you'll be able to get context-specific speech options. All voices and music are going to be re-recorded and redone, much for the same reason that Vault 13 and Project Arroyo will have to do the same for their voices, because they just don't legally own the rights to the recordings, and that's where copyright infringement comes in when it comes to sounds. So all voices, all music will all have to be redone, including soundtracks and background music. With this mod, I was able to get in touch with Metamoth, the project lead, and Metamoth was more than happy to answer my questions. When asked when we could expect the mod to come out, Metamoth said, "We don't provide numbers like that because they lead to speculation. There's no guarantee that our project, like any other of our scale, won't fail or have some sort of major issue that will result in a major delay. Giving out percentages and the like just feeds into release date theory crafting, which is bad for both our team and our community, since speculation like that tends to turn into fact very quickly." I agree. I think it's a really good thing that none of the teams have pinned any sort of release date for their mods for that exact reason. When asked what are some of the bigger challenges your team has encountered in development, Meta responded with, "That's going to come down to who you ask. Our quest team would no doubt say that wrangling Fallout 4's quest system into playing nice with New Vegas's quest design is a massive ongoing challenge due to major differences in how the quest system works. Our Fallout 4 script extender team, on the other hand, would mention something like getting condition working well, since it's a very complex system and relies on quite a bit of custom scripting to make work." When asked, what would you say is your favorite part of the mod so far, Meta responds with, "A lot of the work we've done with enhancing the Mojave has completely revitalized parts of the map. There's something incredibly gratifying about walking into a place like Prim or Novak and seeing all the tiny improvements adding up at once in a distinct location like that." This is incredibly hype because one of my biggest complaints about the old Fallout engine is that while they're still great and playable, they don't really hold up in the 2020s. So seeing a brand new 2020s updated Prim or Novak track is going to be incredible. When asked what inspired the mod to begin with and what about Fallout 4's engine made it so attractive, Meta responded with, "The project itself has a bit of a complex history. The very first iteration of the project was the result of some major scope creep from a team that had initially just wanted to recreate some of the content from New Vegas into Fallout 4 before expanding onto the entirety of New Vegas. That evolved over several months into a mod team that was loosely trying to achieve what the modern version of the team is now doing. However, the project ended up collapsing, and that's when I entered the picture, having just joined their Discord server to join their team. A few former members of that team wanted to pick up the pieces they had already made and keep working on something. From that point on, the features we could reuse from Fallout 4 itself became a bit more of a motivating factor." When asked if they've had any sort of outreach from Bethesda, positive or negative, Metamod says, "We've had some contact with them and they've showcased our work in the past." So again, it looks like Bethesda is fully on board with supporting these mod teams to do what they need to be able to do. So there you have it, Fallout 4 New Vegas. If you'd like to see a little bit more of what they've got going on in their mod, you can check out one of their socials to see more reveals and showcases. They do have some standalone content available, although some of it is available on the Discord strictly as opposed to Nexus mods. Meta, thank you so much for talking with me, and I can't wait to play your guys' mod. I am looking forward to playing Fallout 4 New Vegas like crazy. You know, these total conversion mods we've gone over are fascinating to me because they show off just how powerful and open the modding potential of Fallout 4 is. I did ask a question of all the teams who actually spoke with me, and they all pretty much said the same thing, which is they chose Fallout 4's engine because Fallout 4 has the best modding engine of any of the Fallout games. It is incredibly impressive the things you can do with the creation kit. And I think that's fairly obvious if you look at a lot of other games in comparison to Fallout 4. For one, aside from Skyrim, there is no other game that is as moddable as Fallout 4. There simply isn't. Fallout 4 becomes whatever game you want it to be. There's even a total conversion Metal Gear Solid mod for Fallout 4. And it's this modding potential that leads to this endless replayability, which is why I and many others are still playing this game nearly 10 years later. And another thing I have to note is that behind a lot of the modding teams is just pure passion. I mean, these folks are all extremely passionate about the work they do. They are very excited to share their work with the world, but it is a huge undertaking. I mean, like, they're basically making brand new games with the modding tools available to them. They're just set in Fallout 4's engine. That's the difference. And as a YouTuber, I can appreciate that sentiment because I'm passionate about the work I do here. I love Fallout, and that's why I make Fallout videos, because I love modding my Fallout games, and I have so much fun, I want to share it with everyone else too. Anyways, if you want to check out any of the mods listed here in the video, they will all be available in the description, public links, and then from there you can find community Discords and whatnot. As a final aside, thank you so much for watching. I'm Snail. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts. Which mod are you looking forward to the most? Anyways, take care, brush your hair, and I will see you next time. Peace.